Hi students, I welcome to all of you to this session of fluid machinery. Myself Dheeraj Mondal, Assistant Professor JS College of Engineering. Today I am going to discuss about the centrifugal pump. Now I hope all of you have seen this centrifugal pump because it is already in your home. In every home in that means in current days, in every home we can see a centrifugal pump. That is, the function of the pump is to replace the water from a lower elevation to a higher elevation. That means it is coming from ground level to your water tank. Okay, so by the help of centrifugal pump you are just placing that water in your roof or in your tank, I can say. So what is centrifugal pump? First of all, the definition you need to know. So what do you mean by centrifugal pump? Basically, it is nothing but a hydraulic machine. Okay, the hydraulic machines which convert the mechanical energy into hydraulic energy. The mechanical energy into hydraulic energy, okay, are called pump. Okay, that means what is pump? What is pump? The hydraulic machines which convert mechanical energy to hydraulic energy. Clear? To hydraulic energy are called pump. Now the hydraulic energy is in the form of pressure energy. Okay, that means what we are producing, that hydraulic energy, that is in the form of pressure energy. That means we are pressurizing the water and we are getting some kind of hydraulic energy, and that hydraulic energy is also called pressure energy, or it is also called potential energy. Okay, if this mechanical energy is converted into pressure energy by means of centrifugal force acting on the fluid, the hydraulic machine is called centrifugal pump. Again I am telling you, if the hydraulic energy, if the mechanical energy is converted into pressure energy or hydraulic energy by means of centrifugal force, then it will be called your centrifugal pump. So I think it is clear. Now one more thing I want to mention here, this centrifugal pump is basically the reverse of the inward radial flow reaction turbine. So I hope you have already gone through the radial flow reaction turbine. This is your centrifugal pump. Before this, impact of jet and hydraulic turbine also discussed. So if you have not seen this lecture, please see my lecture in the previous video. Type radial flow reaction turbine, you will see the lecture. Okay, so the definition, I hope it is clear. Now what are the main components? You can see this is your centrifugal pump, this is your sump or your pond, and from this pond the water is entering by the help of this suction pipe. Then it is rotating by the help of this centrifugal force, it is pressurizing. Then at the outlet, this is your delivery pipe, and the water is placed whatever you want to place it. That means in your home, you have to place it in the water tank. Okay, now you need to know what are the different components or part of the centrifugal pump. So first of all, the impeller. Next, number 2 is your, it is number 1. Number 2 is your casing. Number 3 is your suction pipe with foot valve and strainer. Number 4 is your delivery pipe. So these are the 4 components, 4 parts by the help of which the centrifugal pump is basically manufactured, and by the help of these elements or part, you can see the water is placed from this lower elevation to higher elevation. Okay, Now, first of all, what do you mean by impeller? Basically, the impeller, this one is your impeller. You can see in the diagram, it is your impeller. The impeller, basically, the rotating part of the centrifugal pump is called the impeller. Okay, and it consists of a series of backward curved vane. Okay, a backward series of backward curved vane like this. Okay, basically, the impeller is mounted on a shaft which is connected to the shaft of an electric motor. So this is, you can see, this is your shaft, and this impeller is connected with the shaft, and the shaft is connected with the electric motor, and the electric motor, basically it is producing electrical energy, and the electrical energy is converted to mechanical energy, and mechanical energy is converted to this pressure energy, or what we can say potential energy or hydraulic energy. Okay, so what is the conversion of energy? Electrical energy is producing mechanical energy by means of your shaft for rotation of the shaft, and that shaft is rotating. As the shaft is rotating, impeller is also rotating, and the water is pressurizing, and it is placing in the some it is elevated in some particular space, some particular point. Okay, so this is the function of the impeller. I hope it is clear. Now if I want to discuss the casing, number 2 is your casing. So what is casing? In the diagram, you can say this is your casing, this part is casing. Okay, basically the casing of a centrifugal pump is similar to the casing of reaction turbine. You know the reaction turbine, where the water is entering into the system, and by the help of centrifugal force, what is happening? The turbine is rotating as well as shaft is rotating. We are getting shaft work or mechanical energy, and that mechanical energy is producing the electrical energy by the help of generator. Clear? Now, the basically it is the casing is basically same as the casing of the reaction turbine. Okay, and it is an airtight passage. कोई भी यहाँ पर एयर नहीं एंटर होगा, सारा की सारा वाटर है. ठीक है, टोटली एयरटाइट पैसेज सराउंडिंग द इम्पेलर. Okay, this impeller surrounding the impeller and is designed in such a way that the kinetic energy of the water discharge, okay, the kinetic energy whatever the in the water which is discharged at the outlet of the impeller is converted into pressure energy. Again I am telling you, the casing is basically surrounds the impeller. You can see surrounds the impeller, and it is totally airtight passage. Clear? Now this airtight passage, basically it is surrounding the impeller, and it is designed in such a way that the kinetic energy, that is your half mv square, kinetic energy of the water discharged at the outlet of the impeller is converted into pressure energy before the water leaves the casing and enters the delivery pipe. Okay, after that the water is coming to the delivery pipe. So basically it is the outer cover which is basically given the direction of the water towards which the water has to be placed. Okay, now if I want to discuss that, the basically there are mainly 3 type of casing. Okay, number 1 is your volute casing. Number 2 is your vortex casing, and number 3 is your casing with guide blade. Casing with guide blade. So volute, vortex and casing with guide blade, these are the 3 types of casing you may see. So in the figure what you are seeing, that is your volute casing. So basically what do you mean by volute casing? Basically volute casing is the casing which surrounds the impeller, and it is spiral type. Okay, spiral means you have seen the DNA shape. Okay, so the shape of the DNA is like a spiral shape. So it is basically spiral type in which the area of the cross section, okay, you can see that this area and this area is changing now. So basically it is a spiral casing, spiral type in which area increases gradually. Okay, you can see this is the area, again this is the area, So here basically you can see the area is increases gradually, isn't it? This area and this area varying, you can see. Again I am telling you, this area and this area, it is varying now. So if I am changing the color of the pen, okay, you can see this area and this area is basically changes na, gradually increasing area, and the increases in area of flow that means when the area is increases, flow decreases. Okay, are you getting what I am saying? If the area increases in the area increases in area, this area is increasing na. As this area is increasing, the flow decreasing. Clear? Because continuity equation we know, area into velocity is equal to a1 v1 is equal to a2 v2. Now if area is increasing, then velocity decreasing, velocity of flow decreasing. Okay. Okay, next. Now the decreases in velocity increases the pressure. Clear? If the velocity is decreasing, then this velocity energy is basically converted into some type of another energy. So that is your pressure energy. So the decreases in velocity increases the pressure of the water flowing through the casing. Clear? And it has been observed that in case of volute casing, the efficiency of the pump increases slightly. As that means in case of volute casing, the efficiency of the pump is increases. Clear? Now if I want to talk about the vortex casing, number 2 vortex, already I told you in the that means the types of casing is your volute casing and vortex casing, and the casing with guide blade. Now if I want to discuss you, this is your, you can see, this is your vortex casing. So what do you mean by vortex casing? If a circular chamber is introduced between the casing and the impeller as shown in figure, okay, the casing is known as vortex casing. That means a circular, you can see here it is your a circular chamber, and it is introduced between the casing and the impeller. This one is your impeller, this one is your casing. Between the casing and impeller, if the circular chamber is introduced, then it is called your vortex casing. Okay, so what is the function of this? By introducing the circular chamber, the loss of energy due to formation of eddies. Eddies formation, you know, because of the frictional dissipation, collision. Okay, there is some eddy loss you can observe. Okay, so basically the loss of energy due to the formation of eddies is reduced to a considerable extent. Okay, that means that loss of energy basically it is reducing because of this circular chamber. Okay, and as a whole, as a result, the efficiency of the pump is more than the efficiency when the volute casing is provided. Mane last in the, that means few minutes before I discussed the volute casing. So in case of volute casing, if I am comparing the volute casing and vortex casing, because of this circular chamber, you will see that eddies formation is minimizing, and it is basically minimizing the loss of the energy, and as a result the efficiency of the your vortex casing will be in increasing order. But if I want to discuss about the guide vanes, here you can see this is your total casing, and the guide vane, it is your guide vane, totally stationary part, and this one is your impeller. This part will be rotated and this part is your stationary part. It is basically given the direction or basically external shock. It is basically minimizing the external shock when the water is entering into the system. Okay, basically this casing, you can see in this figure it is shown. Okay, so this is the casing with guide blades. Okay, and basically here what happened, the impeller is surrounded by a series of guide blade. Impeller is surrounded by a series of guide blade. Okay, this is your guide blade, which is mounted a ring which is known as diffuser. This guide blade, it is also called diffuser. Okay, and the guide vanes are designed in such a way that the water from the impeller enters the guide vanes without shock. I think it is clear. When it is, that means the guide vane is designed in such a way that The water which is entering into the impeller without any external shock, that means without any vibration, it is entering into the system. Okay, so as a result, it is basically that means reducing the losses. Okay, loss is minimized because of this, as this water is entering without shock. Okay, and as a result, we can see that means the efficiency of the pump will be more than the previous two. Okay, so this is the all about the casing, the description of the casing. Now if I want to talk about the suction pipe with foot valve and strainer, you can see in this figure number 3 is a suction valve with foot valve, and this is your foot valve and strainer. What is the function of this suction valve? Basically the pipe which is whose one end is connected to the inlet of the pump. Okay, and the other is basically the other is placed in the deep of water, that means in the depth of the water. This is your pond. Okay, and this is the sump or water reservoir. Here basically the suction pipe is placed between the inlet of the pump here basically, that means it is entering into the casing, and this is the outlet. Okay, now what happened, the water is coming here and it is sucked, and the water is entering into the system, and by means of centrifugal force it is coming to the delivery pipe. Now what is the function of the foot valve and strainer? This basically strainer basically is used to eliminate or filter out the foreign material which is going to enter into the pipe. Okay, basically only water particle or liquid particle is allowed to enter into the system, and rest of the, it is like a sieve. Okay, like this, like a sieve. So the water particle, only water particle will be allowed to enter into the system, and rest of the foreign material will not be allowed. I think it is clear. And foot valve basically it is one way opening. Okay, that means if the water is entering into the system, it cannot be coming out from the system. Okay, now suction pipe, it is basically connected to the and that means one end is deep to the water, and another end is connected to the inlet of the pump. Okay, so this is the and then the water is placed in the casing because by the help of this suction pipe. Now come to the next, your delivery pipe. What do you mean by delivery pipe? Basically the delivery pipe is connected to the outlet of the pump, and basically the delivery pipe and another end is basically connected to the your reservoir where you want to place that water, like your water tank. Okay, so this is your function of the delivery pipe. I hope it is clear. Now if I talk about the work done by the centrifugal pump or by impeller on water, so velocity triangle, it is nothing but the velocity triangle. Now already I have told you that it is one kind of reverse of the inward radial flow reaction turbine. So whatever the function is done by inward radial flow reaction turbine, that means by the help of water force or water energy, it is converted into mechanical energy. Here basically mechanical energy is converted into water energy or hydraulic energy or pressure energy. So it is basically the reverse of the inward radial flow reaction turbine. Clear? Now this is your backward curve vane. I have told you. Now if I talk about the velocity triangle, so again I am telling you, if it is your like this is your turbine, and this is your turbine blade, this is your inlet, and this is your outlet. So in case of inward radial flow reaction turbine, the turbine at the outlet, the flow is radial, that means this angle is a 90 degree at that time. This is your center. So what happened, this is your alpha, and this one is your phi, this is your beta. So I know this already, it is already discussed, so I hope it is in your mind. If you don't know what is the inward radial flow reaction turbine velocity triangle, please go through my previous lecture. Okay, search in DM study center, you will see that how the inward radial flow reaction turbine works and what is the velocity triangle. All this it is discussed. Also it is discussed in the impact of jet when we were discussing the radial flow radial your what I mean that your radial carb vane. Okay, so at that part also it is discussed. Okay, so here basically what happened at that means as I have told you, it is the reverse of the inward radial flow reaction turbine. So is here basically the flow is radial in the inlet. Okay, and this is your outlet, this is your V1, absolute velocity of the jet. Okay, V1, and this one is your 90 degree, alpha is 90 degree. There beta is your 90 degree, but here alpha is equal to 90 degree, because you know that it is reverse of that particular turbine. And this is your theta, this is your relative velocity, this is your inlet velocity of the blade, this is your velocity of absolute velocity of the jet, this one is your angle phi, this is your vf2, vr2, v2, vw2, u2, because we know that vw2 is the distance between vf2 and v2, and u2 is the distance between vr2 and v2. So I am not going to discuss it, that means because this already it is known to you, and it is basically tangent, I know, you know. So it is basically tangent with respect to the center, you can see. Now if I am talking about, that means your n is what? Here you can see n is the speed of the impeller, d1 is the diameter of the impeller, u1 is the tangential velocity of the impeller at inlet. So u is equal to pi dn by 60, you know. u2 is equal to pi d2n by 60, u1 is equal to pi d1n by 60, that we know. And v1 is the absolute velocity of water at inlet, vr1 is the relative velocity of water at inlet, and alpha is the angle made by the absolute velocity v1 with inlet with the direction of the motion of the vane. And what is theta? Theta basically angle made by the relative velocity vr1 at inlet with the direction of the motion of the vane. Okay, and similarly at the outlet v2, vr2, beta, phi are corresponding value at outlet. Okay, now come to the point. If I want to discuss that what is the work done. Okay, so you know that in case of turbine, we know that vw1 u1 plus minus vw2 u2 by g. So these are the work done, but here basically the work is done by the system in the turbine. But if I consider that it is your pump, then here basically work is done on the system. That means work done by the impeller on the water per second, isn't it? So in case of turbine, if it is your 1 by g vw1 u1 plus minus vw2 u2, but in case of pump, if I want to consider the what is the work done by the impeller on the water per second per unit weight, then it is equal to minus of work done in case of turbine, isn't it? Minus of work done in case of turbine. Why I am writing? Because in case of turbine is nothing but a work interacting device where work is produced, but in case of pump the work is basically consuming by this pump. So work, we are not getting the work, we are given work, and we are getting some hydraulic energy or potential energy, or your water is placed from lower elevation to higher elevation. So that is why this equation, it will be minus of the work done in case of turbine, and minus of, if I want to if I am just showing this one. But in case of pump, what we have seen that vw1 is equal to 0, because alpha is equal to 90 degree here. If alpha is equal to 90 degrees, then real velocity at the inlet is equal to 0. So ultimately 1 by g vw to u2. I think it is clear. So it is your work done by the impeller on the water per second per unit weight. So remember this problem, this formula is needed when we are going to solve the numerical. It is very important. Or work done by impeller on water per second is equal to w by g, because m is equal to m mass flow rate is equal to w by g, because w is equal to m into g. So that is why I can write this one. Okay, so if you want to consider, that means w is equal to rho g q, you know, and q is equal to what? Volume of water, volume flow rate, and q is equal to, we can write area into velocity of flow, and area is what? Pi D1. Here basically if I want to consider the outlets and velocity of flow, that means your V2. So pi D2 B2 into VF2. So this is the discharge. Clear? So basically the how we can calculate this discharge, pi into D2 into B2 into VF2, or pi into D1 into B1 into VF1 at inlet. So this is how I can calculate the discharge. So I hope it is clear. Today up to this next class we will be discussing the definition of heads efficiency, centrifugal pump, how to calculate the your manometric head and all this. So I think it is clear, and don't forget to subscribe my channel, that is your DM Study Center, and press the bell icon to get the notification for every video. It is your class, your channel. So if there is any modification you want to then any modification you need, then you can ask me in the comment section. I will get back to you, because it is made for only for you, only for my students. Thank you for listening. Jai